Welcome back to our second micro lecture of the module. Here we're going to jump right back in and start out with a discussion of blood alcohol content and the factors that surround increases and decreases in BAC levels. BAC, or blood alcohol content or concentration, is the amount of alcohol that is present in our blood. Is there a presence of food in the stomach? Did you eat before you started drinking? Did you eat while you were drinking? Are you trying to sop up the alcohol with Taco Bell at 1 in the morning? What are some of the best foods to have in your system to delay the metabolism of alcohol? If you eat fatty foods, meat, or milk, the higher the presence of food in your system, then the lower your BAC will be. And your BAC also depends on the rate of alcohol consumption. Are you drinking the recommended 1 drink per hour? Or are you taking shot after shot after shot? Are you binge drinking very quickly? What about the concentration of alcohol? What type of alcohol are you drinking? Are you drinking Bud Light or are you drinking Everclear? Which one has the higher proof and which one is going to get you drunk faster? We also have to consider the drinker's body composition. Are you male or female? Are you heavier or are you on the super thin side? What's your height? Have you been drinking for very long? Essentially, alcohol is just empty calories. There's really no nutritional value to alcohol at all. But depending on what you drink, it might seem like a meal at times. Guinness comes to mind for me. Beer drinkers sometimes are concerned with the beer that they drink. There are a lot of carbohydrates in beer, so beer companies come out with the lower calorie, low carb beers. I don't know how good a 64 calorie beer is, but if you're interested, it is out there. Most light beers are around the 100 calorie marker. Bud Light is 110 calories. Coors Light is 102 calories per bottle or can. But if you want the low-calorie beers, then they're going to be the light, watered-down ones. The best rule of thumb for all alcohols is that the darker you go, you're going to have a higher calorie count. Clearer alcohols, such as tequila or vodka, have less calorie counts than darker alcohols like whiskey, bourbon, or scotch. The same is true for beers. The darker the beer, the higher the calorie count. Essentially, the higher the alcohol concentration as well. As you are probably aware, alcohol can cause severe physical and psychological dependence for those who use and abuse it. But alcohol is also notorious for creating a cross-tolerance with other substances. Basically, when an alcohol user continuously drinks alcohol, their tolerance level increases the more frequently that they drink, which means that the effects are diminished until the user hits higher amounts of consumption. This is true for every substance that we consume in life, but when cross-tolerance is involved, things get a little bit sticky. Cross-tolerance suggests that when one becomes tolerant of the initial drug and seeks out similar drugs to enhance the effect of the first drug, this can lead to an easier tolerance of the second drug. So if I start out with alcohol as my primary drug, and then I start smoking weed while I'm drinking, it will be easier for me to increase my tolerance where the weed is concerned. Alcohol also leads to behavioral tolerance, which is the compensation of motor impairments through behavioral pattern modification by chronic alcohol users. In other words, they are overcompensating due to inebriation to make themselves seem less intoxicated. So what types of things might you be doing when you're intoxicated? You might be trying to walk straight and slow. You might speak slower, louder, or more pronounced. Driving the exact speed limit or slightly under the speed limit. Basically anything that makes you appear to be less drunk than you really are. Our livers are responsible for metabolizing alcohol much like everything else. Almost 95% of consumed alcohol is inactivated by liver metabolism. No matter how much we drink, our livers are going to continue to metabolize alcohol at the same rate. If we have one drink or 4 drinks, our livers will continue to keep working at the exact same speed. That's why it takes so long for us to get the alcohol out of our systems. So rule of thumb is 1 drink an hour. But who actually drinks 1 drink an hour? That's a lot of time to drink 1 drink or to go drinkless before you can have the next one. That's often why we're hungover. We don't wait the hour and then the next day we're feeling really bad. Thus, if 1 can of beer is consumed each hour, your BAC will remain constant. But again, who goes out to a bar and does this? Not many people. This is also why so many alcoholic drinkers end up with cirrhosis of the liver. They are drinking too much too fast over the years and their livers cannot keep up. So cirrhosis or liver scarring ends up occurring and then the user will have to go on dialysis. Drug users often drink when they're using other drugs. Mostly people do that to enhance the effects, but drinking also provides a stopgap, if you would, that fills the gap between the uses of illicit drug doses. If I am drinking and I want to enhance my drug use, I'm going to use CNS depressants, as you know. These are similar in structure and will enhance the effects of one another. What do we call the effect when 2 drugs work together rather than against each other? This is synergistic drug use. What sorts of drugs would I want to take to get an enhanced or synergistic effect? I might turn to Valium, Xanax, or other CNS depressants like we discussed earlier this term. Opioids such as heroin, morphine, oxycodone, or hydrocodone are also popular. But marijuana is the most widely used in combination with alcohol. Because you're drinking and enhancing the effects of the drugs, you don't have to take as much of the illicit substance. It allows you to save money and it also allows you to have your stash a little bit longer. But it is more dangerous than just using one or the other by itself. Let's also discuss the short-term effects of alcohol. One of the first things that you will notice after consumption in low to moderate doses, beyond the buzz itself, is a feeling of disinhibition. You might be willing to do more things. You might not be as worried about the consequences of acting recklessly, and you might be more willing to be social. In terms of social setting, depending on where you drink, your mental state may also determine individual responses. You might feel euphoric, friendly, and talkative. These are known as the happy drunks. They want to be everyone's best friend, talking to people they don't know, singing, dancing, just generally having a good time. You might feel aggressive or hostile. Most bar fights are the result of alcohol-driven anger. An insult gets said here and there, and the next thing you know, you're trying to hit the person who said it. Alcohol use also interferes with motor activity, reflexes, and coordination. You're not able to walk straight, drive straight, and their reaction time is hampered somewhat. Remember, this is a depressant drug, so things are slowed down somewhat. In moderate amounts, we start to see increased effects. There are slight increases in heart rate with slight dilation of blood vessels in the arms, legs, and skin. That's why you feel warm when you drink alcohol. It thins your blood out a little bit, and that's why people want to try to drink in the winter if you're standing outside for a long time. But it's a false warmth and can actually make you succumb to hypothermia that much quicker if you find yourself in this position. There is also a moderate lowering of your blood pressure. Alcohol also stimulates appetite to the increased production of gastric secretions. Gastric acid is a vital part of your digestion. Enzymes are released to help break down whatever is in your stomach and helps with the metabolism of alcohol that is present there. That's why you always want the worst fast food items when you're drunk. Alcohol also increases urine output. The more you drink, the more you need to pee. Alcohol is a diuretic. Beer has a lot of water in it, and the more beer you drink, the more you need to expel that water. But while you do so, you're also helping to dehydrate your tissues. This is why so many hungover people turn to things like Pedialyte or liquid IV the next morning to help them try to rehydrate. At higher doses, we see much stronger effects. When you are highly intoxicated, research finds that social setting has very little influence on the effects on your body. You start to see the same effects no matter where you are or who you are drinking with. There is an increased difficulty in walking, talking, and thinking, while the alcohol also is inducing drowsiness and can cause sleep. When the drinking stops, that's when the hangover begins. Hungover individuals will experience tissue dehydration, headache, upset stomach, sensitivity to light and sound, and a massive need to consume Gatorade and eat greasy McDonald's. There is also a difference between drinking a lot of alcohol over a prolonged period of time compared to drinking a lot of alcohol in a short amount of time. Normally, when you drink a lot in a short amount of time, you end up getting sick or getting alcohol poisoning. Your body starts to shut down pretty quickly, leading towards coma or death. Sometimes you might throw up trying to get the toxins out of your body, but not always. Sometimes the alcohol stays in your system and it will keep absorbing. When large amounts of alcohol are consumed rapidly, the user might experience severe depression of the brain system and motor control areas of the brain. This can lead to a lack of coordination, confusion, and disorientation, or in extreme cases, stupor, anesthesia, coma, or even death. A lethal amount of alcohol is between 0.4 and 0.6 by volume in the blood. That equates to more than 6 to 8 times the legal limit. This micro lecture focused on the primary effects of alcohol consumption on the body, but focused more on the immediate effects of consumption. In the next session, we will begin looking at alcohol dependence and what long-term use looks like. I'll see you back here for that discussion.